Hey everyone! So my name is L.Shima. For those that do not know, I am a full-time model and I am based in Detroit, which is awesome for the fact that I'm able to travel to different cities and shoot with different photographers as well as meet a whole bunch of different people. So with that said, I'm actually organizing a 2-week Eastern Coast road trip with a good friend of mine, Sarah L, and we're actually leaving this Friday. And it's not the most intense trip I've ever taken as far as modeling goes, but I haven't done a crazy trip in over a year, so it's like feeling new and fresh for the first time pretty much. But I typically do podcasts every week. I've taken a pause with it. It's called Be Cool. And I've taken a pause around New Year's Eve time to settle down and figure out my living situation in Detroit since I just moved, and as well as just trying to get it more organized and handling the technical issues and things like that. So I found Periscope and it's been fun having these little mini series of Be Cool, of showcasing what my life is and what it's about and what possibly it's like being a model in a way. My life as a model is different than other models, so don't take my word from a lot of things. But this little mini series, I'm focusing more about the trip that I'm about to take, so showcasing all of my organization for it, as well as my food plan, because that's a big thing with handling road trips. Is the easiest way to eat is what? You go to McDonald's, grab a sandwich or a burger, eat that for lunch, and then at dinner you go out to eat to whatever city that you're in or visiting, and then you start the day all over again with breakfast. You just probably go to either the continental breakfast at your hotel or something along those lines, and it's just a constant pay this, pay that to survive as far as your eating schedule. And that's not really healthy and it's not awesome, especially for your wallet. And I know a lot of people understand that. We all go through it. It's a typical daily thing, especially when you are traveling. And you even handle it during your normal lifestyle, being in one place in the city that you live in. So as far as being a model, our bodies and looks are very important. So we have to make sure we maintain our good looks and our good weight. And so for the past year, I've been more focusing on my health and fitness, making sure that I'm eating right as far as, eating 3 meals a day fully, or if I want to eat 6 meals, just making sure I'm properly eating as well as eating good quality meals. I haven't really focused much on organics for the fact that I don't get paid a lot for what I do, so my financial income is not the best to keep up with high-end type of products and produce and things. But I try my best to make sure that I'm eating, high protein meals, having a lot of more veggies, staying away from wheat products, as well as lowering my carb intake as much as I possibly can. And I know that is difficult, especially for a lot of people, including myself. I love carbs to death. I will stuff my face with brownies and pizza and bread and just, oh God, it's making me salivate right now. Anyways, so with that said, I wanted to show y'all basically the behind the scenes of me getting ready for this trip that I'm doing, as well as my organization of my meals, which I spent probably 30 to 45 minutes nailing it down, because my new plan is to do a 2-1-2-1 type of schedule, meaning 2 days no carb meals, and then 1 day added carbs. So, but only 2 meals with 1 serving of carbs. So I broke down a calendar, and I'll show y'all real fast. So I broke down a calendar. Obviously, this is Google. And so I'll show you the diet plan that I had. This is exactly what I did yesterday. So this is the start of it. I don't know if you could see it very clearly, but then so today started my no carbs. So for these 2 days, I basically will eat, proteins, veggies, and I can add fruit to it. But I got to make sure that I watch the type of veggies and fruit that I eat, because there's a lot of hidden carbs in your typical healthy produce. So such as mangoes and pineapples and pears, those tend to have more higher sugar content than strawberries and apples and oranges. As well as vegetables go, you have your obvious sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. Even carrots and corn have hidden carbohydrates that aren't the best for you as far as this no carb diet goes. And this is just primarily for me. Obviously for other people, this little program is not going to be the best. This is the first time I'm starting it. So I've done a lot of no wheat and low carb eating so far, but this one's a little bit different because now I can add carbs on the blank days. I can add 2 meals of 1 serving of carbs, but I got to make sure that it's not wheat and white carbs. So meaning, not obviously white bread or white rice, but it also includes potatoes and white flour, and that even includes added salt. So I can add like sweet potatoes and quinoa and certain legumes and brown rice and oats, bananas, things like that. And so this is just basically my typical schedule that I created yesterday, and it took a lot of time dealing with because I also had a plan for the 2-week trip. So from this Friday down all the way until the around the 9th of June, I will be gone. So I have to try my hardest to figure out, all right, most likely there will be times where I'm going to go to a restaurant or go to fast food. Well, I'm going to try not to go to fast food, but there will be times where I'll go out to eat, and I have to make sure that whatever I get follows this, progress. And so that's one of the crazy things that I'm currently figuring out, and I'm actually got to go to a grocery store, so I will eventually record that moment too for anyone that's interested. But speaking of my road trip, this is basically my schedule for those that are also interested. I'm leaving, so I'm based in Detroit, and I'm driving with a friend of mine. We're leaving Detroit this Friday, and we're heading to Cleveland. We'll be in Cleveland for one full day, and eventually getting to Pittsburgh right after, staying in Pittsburgh for 2 days. My hands look really janky and not attractive whatsoever. We'll stay in Pittsburgh for 2 full days, leave on the 27th, and then head to Philadelphia for 3 days. Same kind of process, leave Philly, head to New York, and then stay in New York for 4 days. Eventually arrive to Toronto, which is my first time in Canada, as well as Toronto, obviously. So that will be actually fun and exciting because I've never been. Head to Toronto on the 5th, and then be in Toronto for 3 full days, and then eventually leaving and heading back to Detroit. And so with my scheduling so far, I'm fully booked in Cleveland. I have 3 photo shoots for 1 full day, so that's going to be very fun. Pittsburgh, I actually have nothing, which can be a bad situation because I'm not doing anything, but I'm going to use that time to relax, get my mind right, and prepare myself for this crazy trip that's about to happen in a few days. And then Philadelphia is similar to Pittsburgh. I actually only have 1 shoot. So again, the same idea. I'm going to kind of relax. Good morning. I'm going to relax and get my mind ready for the epic shoots I have in New York and Toronto. So with that said, New York and Toronto, I have the most scheduled shoots. Every single day, I'm constantly shooting. And for an idea, for the ones that have never read or listened to my prior podcasts or don't even know me at all, modeling, you can shoot every single day, especially when you're starting. It's very helpful to shoot as often as you can just to work up your portfolio, to have something to showcase for other photographers or clients and things like that. And it's very beneficial. But after a while, especially when you've been doing it for 3-4 years like myself, there's typically sometimes I wouldn't say no point, but there's not a huge need to shoot every day, unless obviously there's really great photographers that want to shoot you, or you're constantly getting paid gigs every day, then that's awesome. For my life, that doesn't happen. I don't get paid, especially if I'm in Detroit. I don't get paid gigs every day. It's usually a paid gig maybe once to every 1 to 3 weeks. So it really varies, especially with trade photo shoots. It varies as well. I might shoot trades more often than I get paid gigs because, I mean, that's just easier to afford for everyone pretty much. And so with these traveling trips, and that's why I do these, it allows me to go to these different cities and shoot with photographers that I would rarely ever actually have a chance to shoot if I stayed local to the city that I'm in. So with that being said, New York, I have shoots every single day. Even some shoots I have double on one full day. And I actually haven't added a lot of people yet, so this is actually not as crazy as it actually really is. So New York, I have every shoot every single day. I'll even have a shoot on the day that I leave New York, and even the day I arrive in New York. I'll have a shoot every single day in Toronto, and then eventually leave. So after the 30th, well, actually more after May 30th, I will be shooting every 5. I'm planning. I like it. It's awesome. It's fun. I get to meet these awesome photographers and be part of their life for at least a few hours, pretty much, maybe even more because, you know, photos take time and editing and stuff like that. But it's something that I actually enjoy. I'm trying to like lean my phone so I don't have to hold it. But anyways, oh, look at that. Okay, so as long as I don't move it. But so yeah, that's the exciting part, and it's also the part that I get to be able to go to these cities and sightsee if I want to. We're most likely couch surfing the entire time that we're going to be there, so we're staying with random people that most likely I don't even know. The girl I'm traveling with, Sar, she knows 2 people that we're staying with, so she knows everyone. I actually don't. There's one person in Cleveland that I actually got from the couch surfing site that I've used countless times in the past. I love the site, actually. It's really good and helpful. But I've never met that guy before, so that will be fun and entertaining, as well as he actually will have another person surfing while we're there. So that's another person that we get to meet, as well as all the other cities. We don't have anything for Pittsburgh yet as far as a place to stay, but I have to redo messaging for a lot of people. And if you even look at my emails are ridiculously like unread. My organizing with emails is I leave them unread if there's something that needs to be written back, or something that it's actually important as well. That's how I personally do it. It works for me. It doesn't work for a lot of people, but it keeps me organized in that sense. And so my unread messages are pretty crazy long because I have to, especially with scheduling, I have to wait for one photographer to nail down a time to then nail down another time with another photographer. So it's like this domino effect. And a lot of times I'm noticing too, there's some photographers that are like, oh yeah, we'll just roll with the punches and see when you get here. And I'm like, that's awesome. I love how free-flowing you are, but with my scheduling, like, I need to nail down times so I can let these other photographers know what days I'm available and work with their schedules. Like, usually I'm super open-minded, so as long as you, like, say, okay, I want to shoot in the morning or the evening or the afternoon, awesome, let's make it work. I will give you my time. But it's just I'm noticing a lot of people are like, yeah, it's just whenever you get here, text me. I'm like, all right, don't get mad if I run out of timing and space for you, because that's what it's going to end up being if you keep doing that. So usually there's a lot of them too where I don't have scheduled times. I just have like a huge block with their name, so it reminds me, okay, like in Toronto, there's a photographer named Nathan. It says Shima's photo shoot with Nathan. It's this huge green block that basically says it's an all-day shoot, but it's not, so I have to wait until the 6th of June gets closer to hit up Nathan again and be like, hey, it's getting close, let me know what time may or may not work for you, kind of situation. And even with that too, also creating and organizing these shoots in general. So it being a clothed photo shoot, well, I need to prepare for the outfits that I'll be wearing, my hair, my makeup, anything else. If there's going to be a team involved, what certain locations are we going to be doing, as well as the time frame. Like, do you want to shoot just for an hour, 2 hours, a whole half day, which is typically around 4 to 6 hours. Like, I need to know a lot of these little details behind the shoot. And some photographers, which is awesome, Like one that I talked to last night, he was just like, I don't care about hair, makeup, clothes. It's just going to be me and you. We're just going to shoot. He didn't care about concepts or any ideas like that. He just wanted to get together and shoot something. Same with this photographer in Toronto. She only had a few minutes to spare during my time because she's so backlogged on a lot of work that she's like, I would love to meet you. So if you just want to meet at this place and head over to, for 30 minutes and just start shooting together, we'll totally do that. I'm like, awesome. Like, sometimes I don't care if the shoot lasts for 5 minutes. I actually enjoy meeting people and listening to maybe what they've experienced or stories that they have that are freaking crazy or other models that they actually admire. Like, it's always fascinating to like pick the brains of a lot of people, especially in this industry, because with me, and I don't know why, but there's a lot of people, I've tried to meet a lot of models, photographers, not as much. I mean, I've tried to meet photographers, but not as, like, detailed as me trying to message models and be like, hey, let's just go grab coffee and tea and, like, just mingle with each other. I've done that so often. I probably sent over, not exaggerating, 500 emails from my time living in Florida to my time here in Detroit, and I've probably in total met 5 models. So I don't know why a lot of them don't want to meet me, or for whatever reason they might think I'm intimidating, or they might think that I'm trying to steal their clients. They might think that I might kidnap them. I have no idea. Or they might think I'm like a scam and they don't think I'm actually a real person who would want to meet me, like, out of the blue. L.Shima does, trust me. So that's another thing I go through. But organizing the shoots is just another obstacle that I constantly have to face. And what I'm trying to do, especially with this trip, is organize more of a team. So having a makeup artist, hairstylist, wardrobe stylist, even, a curator if there wants to be one, and stuff like that. Usually, typically, about 90% of the time, I would even say 95% of the time, for the past 3 to 4 years of my modeling experience, I've done my own hair and makeup and provided my own wardrobe, which is awesome. I enjoy doing the wardrobe part. I like being able to go to the thrift store and grab some items and make it work. Hair, I am not good at whatsoever, honestly. Straightening is the only thing I can do. I'm not your typical girly girl where I can braid my hair and make French braids and a fishtail and curl it so it's super voluminous. Also, you'll find out that I can't talk. And then makeup, I can do it to get by. I'm not wearing makeup right now, but I can do it to get by, but it doesn't look as badass as if I had an actual professional makeup artist do it for me. So they make a lot for the photo if there is a team involved, in comparison to if it's just me and the photographer. I love shooting just me and the photographer a lot of times. It allows me just to get to know them more. But sometimes it's also helpful to have a team behind you, especially if it's like a serious conceptual photo shoot, like the one I'm going to be having in New York with the photographer I've already worked with. We're going to do like more of an 80s concept, so with 80s style clothes and stuff. And unfortunately, he can't get his makeup artist, and I'm questioning to see if he even has a hairstylist that he knows, because especially in 80s time, this hair, I cannot get my hair to look like 80s. Like, that's going to be impossible for me to do. So I'm going to try to get as much, send out as many messages as I possibly can to makeup artists and hairstylists in the area. It's usually harder for a person that doesn't know the city to get people, but anything's better than nothing. Thank you for the comment of natural beauty. It's, I try. That's another thing with modeling. You gotta try to make sure your face is looking on point even without makeup. That's one of my hardest things that I do daily. I wash my face constantly. I try not to touch my face, but it's really hard. And so my skin is not like the best, but I try. I get like my 8 hours of sleep, even more. I work out. Yeah, I'm rambling. Anyways, hi. And so that's kind of like the gist of my trip. Obviously, as these days go on, I will showcase more of me and my planning and getting things together. I have to go on a thrift shop run again. I just went on one like the other day. I honestly hate shopping, actually. Like, I really don't. I like thrift shopping now, but still the idea, like, I go through clothes fast to get it over with. I try it on really fast, look at it for 5 seconds. Okay, done. Take it off. So I have to go over to another thrift shop tour, so I'll try to record that. Just the process of like finding clothes and like my ideas behind why this outfit may or may not work kind of thing. Also, I will probably record me and Star's get together as far as like coffee shops and what we do and don't discuss during this time. Usually we're girls, we discuss random shit, but there are times when I'm like telling her, okay, well, I found a place for us to stay in Cleveland, so this is the guy's profile, this is all we need to know about him, this is where he's living, all this other stuff. Okay, well, we both have a shoot at 10 a.m. on, Sunday in Cleveland. We're gonna have to make this work somehow because we only have one car. So it's just a lot of chit chatter that goes involved in the planning and organizing of this trip. I think that's how I said it right. Anyways, and so not only will I record the behind the scenes of the process, but when Friday hits, expect a lot of more of the Be Cool mini-series. For those that are just tuning in, this is what I'm calling my Periscopes, is the Be Cool mini-series. That was my past podcast's name. And so I will record a lot more mini-series during our trips, from behind the scenes at photo shoots to us in the cars doing sing-alongs to random things, going on shopping adventures if we end up doing that, meeting the people at the places that we stay. If we go out around town, I will show you that. Anything that just involves what we're doing to get a better outlook of what it's like to be L.Shima, pretty much. Then I'll definitely try to record it. And so trying to think if there's anything else. So yeah, definitely if you're interested in this stuff, follow me if you want, like it, do whatever you want. I'm not the pushover type of person. Also, if you're fascinated on my work, feel free to Google L.Shima. It will pop up. You'll see my Tumblr, so Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media I am a part of. But with that said, I am about to go crazy and go on a grocery shopping list. This is not that bad, but I have to get like protein powders to make sure I get enough protein. I have to get like Quest bars. I'm not sure if any of y'all have tried Quest bars. I've never tried it before, but I've heard a lot of good things, especially off of Reddit. So I'm going to try that. There's like a lot of I need oatmeal. And like one of the biggest things is we're going to take a lot of dried goods. I don't know why I do a lot of quotations today. We do a lot of dried goods during our trip, so I'm going to stack up on a lot of like nuts and fruits and dried fruits like cranberries and cherries and stuff like that, and figure it out, because we're not going to take an ice chest, especially going to Canada. I might talk about that one day. Canada, apparently, again, I've never been, but crossing the border as a model to Canada is apparently you got to do a lot of lying, because if they find out that you're making money from in their country, they will ban you, and I don't want to be banned, and so we can't tell them why we're there. We gotta basically just we're kind of lying in the fact that we are going to sightsee and stay with a friend and hang out and stuff, and it will be my first time there, so it's not like we're fully lying, but we gotta kind of lie. And I told Sarah, and I'm like, me and lying is not best friends. I was always super bad at it, so she's like, don't worry, I've been to Canada countless times, I'll do all the talking. And I'm like, yeah, but what happens if they ask me questions? So I'm not worried about going back to the United States, because I'm, native. So yeah, anyways, okay. So with that said, that was kind of a little intro of this week. Pretty much. As far as running and exercise go, I may show that. I don't, especially when I'm here in Detroit, I go to a class, and I don't really want to record other people because that's invading their privacy type stuff. But during the trip, if I go running or something, I'll try to record that. I don't. Francis gave a good idea. That's my boyfriend. Francis gave a good idea that I should just put the phone in my cleavage and then record it from the boob perspective. I'll figure something out. I have no idea. I don't even know what my exercise plan is going to be for this trip. I just need to make sure I do it. So y'all need to, especially if y'all are my mega supporters that watch my stuff all the time, you need to keep me in line with my eating and my exercising. Keep it in line. Say, Shima, you need to get on track. No eating junk food. No doing this. So that would actually be really helpful. So seriously, do it. So I will go to the grocery store and I might record a mini series. I feel weird going in public places and talking because I know people are like, why is this chick talking to her phone while she's recording stuff? I'm so confused. Yeah, be confused. You know nothing about my life. So I'll try to record a little episode of just me getting certain things, like especially the protein powders, me picking which one I want. I'll do that for y'all if that ends up happening, especially with some other things. So now I'm just rambling. So all right, everyone, thank you for tuning in and have a fabulous day, morning, evening, whatever place you're living in, whatever time it is, and I will see y'all eventually. So bye. Hey everyone, L.Shima here, and welcome to another fabulous episode of my Be Cool mini-series. Yay! So I'm not sure if any of y'all saw my video earlier today going over about my modeling trip that I'm about to embark on Friday, and the fabulous time of organizing my food and eating, and also just the daily scheduling of the entire trip. So if you didn't, go check that out. But this little episode is more about what I typically have in my pantry and why I choose to have it. Also, if there's something new that I bought recently on my grocery trip earlier today, which I spent majority of the day running errands and getting food. So I'm finally able to relax. But yeah, this episode is more about just going over what's in my pantry, talking about it, and my diet and stuff like that. So, hi from Spain. Yay! So hopefully y'all enjoy, and if there's any recommendations that y'all would like to make, feel free to share it. As far as if there's a certain diet that you do, and when I say diet, I also mean like more of a lifestyle change, something that you actually keep up with for your entire life. Nothing that's going to be like one quick thing. I want, especially with my eating, I want it to be something that I will enjoy and that I will keep forever and ever and ever. So that's kind of my journey through modeling and stuff, is trying to find my healthy eating and exercising and all that other stuff. So, all right, enough with me just talking at my face. Let's show you exactly what I got at the grocery store earlier today. Some of this stuff I've actually had in my pantry before I went, but some of this also is actually kind of fairly new as well. So I'll go through each and every one of them. Some I'll talk a little bit more than others. If any of these that you have tried yourself, feel free to share about it and your thoughts about each product, as well as if there's something that you recommend more than what I've actually gotten, feel free to share. I'm very open-minded and I like hearing what everyone has to say about certain things. So I guess let me start from, let's go on the right-hand side. So I did, obviously, if you can kind of tell, I went to Whole Foods, and they are very good as far as finding more natural and, what do you want to call it, specific type of foods. So since I'm doing stuff that doesn't really require wheat, it's really hard for me to find, like an example, potato chips that actually fit that kind of diet, or even cookies for that matter. It's really hard to find baked goods that don't carry or that don't hold a wheat substance. And so Whole Foods is really good for that, plus whatever else. If you're lactose intolerant, or if you're, the whole thing with gluten-free, or whatever else diets that are out there, or eating lifestyles that are out there, Whole Foods is typically a really great place to go. And I know currently a lot of normal grocery stores are starting to carry a little bit more elaborated, a little bit more detailed products. So I definitely went to Whole Foods first, and I ended up grabbing actually this company's sweet potato tortilla chips. I've actually honestly never tried it, so if any of y'all have tried it, please tell me how it is. Basically, I got it for my trip, since it's going to be a 2-week trip, and I know there's going to be times where I want to snack on something, or I'm eating a sandwich, and I need something additional to go with it. So I thought out of all the little chip options that they had, I thought this one seemed more focused towards what I'm leaning towards in my diet. I looked at the ingredients as well as the nutrition facts, which is always important when you do that, obviously, but some people I know when I first started dieting, even before that, I would just ignore what the nutrition facts said because I never fully understood it or even cared, let alone the ingredients as well. But what I've learned also, as with all my studies and things like that, it's very helpful if you can understand what the ingredients are. So if there's words that you don't even know what it is, most likely you probably shouldn't eat it. Now there are times when it's like protein bars and protein powders. They're going to have a little bit more of a scientific name to a lot of the ingredients. So if there is the situation you don't know a name, Google it and see if it is healthy, good for you, bad for you, things like that. But I definitely looked at the ingredients as well as the nutrition facts of these chips. It's not too crazy as far as the calories for me, as well as it does have a decent amount of protein. That's better than none. And it also follows my no wheat. It does have carbs, which is the sweet potatoes and the corn tortillas, but I can have this only on my my carb allowed day. And so what I said on the other episode was basically my schedule is 2-1. So 2 days I'm having no carbs, so none whatsoever, and then, or no added carbs, actually, to be more correct. So 2 days, no added carbs, 1 day, I'm trying to word it right. 1 serving of 2 added carbs any day. So that's my current schedule. So this would be good for that day. The next also thing, and I'm not sure if they carry this anywhere else actually, because I found this in the farmer's market here in Detroit, Michigan, and it's called Banza. It's actually pasta made out of chickpeas, and so I've had it a couple of times. It's very high in protein, high in fiber, and the whole gluten-free thing is also helpful, especially when you're looking for things that do not contain wheat. I wouldn't say that I'm going on a gluten-free diet. I'm just more focusing on wheat itself. But usually if it's gluten-free, there is a chance that it does not have wheat. But sometimes they switch it with another type of wheat. It gets so crazy with the ingredients. But usually you're typically okay-ish, but it's always good to read the ingredients. And so the calories and even the protein seem fantastic. This honestly even has 14 grams of protein in 1 2-ounce serving. So that's actually a lot of protein for some pasta. I'm not sure original typical pasta how much protein is in that, but I doubt it's that freaking many. The next thing also is, like everyone should take, is multivitamins. There's also, this one's Mega Food. It's more organic and true to the actual nature of the plants and fruits that they get the ingredients from, or the nutrients from. And so there's obviously a women's and men's. I obviously do not take the men's. I stick with the women's. But that one's a great company, as well as having your D3, especially if you're living in a state such as me that doesn't really get sunny, especially during winter days. D3 is highly important, and it has also been tested that D3 helps with depression. Not saying I get depressed, but it does help if you are someone who gets depressed.
And I got the Sunny Gummies. This is from Whole Foods as well, Rainbow Light. Obviously, I honestly wouldn't recommend getting a gummy form of vitamins, but Francis really, my boyfriend, really wanted to get these, so I didn't go against it whatsoever. They do taste tasty, except for when you brush your teeth and you eat one of these, it doesn't taste really good at all. But D3 and multivitamins are always a go for your daily life, as well as fish oil and other vitamins are also important. I have actually a lot of vitamins in my pantry, but those are more specific, such as magnesium and, I'm trying to think, amino acids of certain kinds. So that's just that part. Another thing is egg whites. Obviously, we've all heard about eggs and egg whites and what's the difference between both of them. And I don't really like eggs that much, but I'm going to give it a try with egg whites. With eggs, it's interesting. I don't really care for scrambled. I can have over easy eggs, which is really weird. And I can have hard-boiled eggs. But for some reason, just scrambled eggs don't really give me a not awesome taste in my mouth. So I'm going to try it with egg whites. And my plan is to either make like a scramble with vegetables and meat, or even doing an omelet. But I'm not 100% sure. I know even one girl, she's actually a lifter. She actually drinks these whole. She'll add protein powder to this and drink it straight up. That's something I've never studied before, so that's something you would have to, if you're interested, you have to learn on your own, but that's just throwing that idea out there. For anyone that just tuned in, also, I just want to repeat that if you have any suggestions or recommendations or anything like that from all the products that I show, feel free to share anything. And if you like something, feel free to like it or whatever. I honestly like to hear people's opinions towards things. So like I mentioned, I actually am also not eating wheat. So instead of typical white flour or even whole wheat flour, I use almond meal / flour and coconut flour. These I've used, obviously I'm almost done with the almond flour. I've typically used these currently right now for pancakes. Almond meal actually was really good with pancakes. It is more mealy than your typical one. But if you're interested in that recipe that I use, feel free to ask. But I've actually enjoyed the almond pancakes a little bit more than the coconut flour ones. But they're both pretty tasty. They still hold the consistency of normal pancakes, but obviously they will be a different texture and maybe not as thick and fluffy as typical ones. But they usually hold the same consistency. And what I've learned is coconut flour actually is a high absorbent flour, so you got to be aware of that it likes to soak up every little bits and piece of liquid that you put with it. So be aware of that when you're cooking with coconut flour. And another actual pancake that I make that sounds interesting and actually does taste really good is cream cheese pancakes. It's the most simplest meal. It's cream cheese and an egg and sugar. And that's pretty much it. So if you use 4 ounces of cream cheese, you get 4 eggs, blend it together with whatever sugar you choose, and basically that's it. If you want to add cinnamon, you can. If you want to add vanilla, you can. But it's the most simplest pancakes, and I actually recommend it more than the almond pancakes, but that's personal choice. Now you get into, obviously, almonds in this little jar. Almonds are obviously good for you and pretty tasty, too. I'm slowly enjoying almonds, too. I've never actually liked it when I was younger, but after a while, they're not too bad. And, yeah, that's pretty much simple with that. Every morning, I typically, the easiest breakfast that I will make is just get one of these Chobanis or even Yoplait or whatever else company there is, and I get the Greek yogurts. This one's a plain one. I plan to add my own fruits and even maybe my own, or not my own, but protein powder to it to amp up the protein amount as well as all the other nutritional, facts, I guess you would want to say. Obviously, when you're looking at certain companies for Greek yogurt, make sure you read the nutrition facts, especially if you're trying to lose weight or try to gain weight. Either way, you should probably read them anyways,
because this one that I ended up buying was super creamy and really actually delicious. I think it was, was it Phage or whatever that one company is called? Anyways, doesn't matter. And so I really enjoyed it while I looked at the calorie and sugar content, and it was extremely high for one serving. So that was the last time I bought it because that type of yogurt does not fit with my diet. So usually Chobani is pretty good. I also do the Yoplait 100 calorie ones, but those typically always have fruit with them, which is not bad. It's just now I'm kind of going more for the plain yogurt so I can add my own stuff to it. But usually always Greek yogurt's very high in protein as well as typically should be low-ish in calories. Another product that I've actually have not tried is these Hail Marys, and they're the macaroons. Again, I've never tried it before, but based on the ingredients as well as the nutrition facts, it fits in with what I need. This would be good kind of thing if I'm craving like a pastry of some sort, something sweet and carb-like, and it would be good for these for me, but I haven't tried them yet. So if you have tried these Hail Mary macaroons, feel free to let me know. This one's the chocolate one, so that's something I can't really talk much about. As far as another protein one, turkey bacon's always good. I might be the weird person in the entire world, but I actually don't care for normal bacon. Yes, shun me all you want. I know I'm a disgrace to the American society. I'm just not huge on fat, like physical fat. I just get super picky with it. Like if you give me a steak, like a ribeye, I will cut everything around it, thinking if it looks like fat to me or if it has a texture of fat, I will cut it out until there's like literally this small of a piece. That's just me. So that's not right. That's why I don't really care for normal bacon. I will eat it. It tastes tasty, but I just rarely ever get it. And so turkey bacon's really good for you, but plus it's something that I can actually eat the entire slice. So high in protein, not as much fat as normal bacon, but I really don't pay attention. Well, I do pay attention to my fat content, but not as much as my carb intake and things like that. So turkey bacon's always good. I will eat a lot of that in one sitting if I could. Moving on to this side. Obviously, we got blueberries. Good for you. I don't really need to talk too much about the fruits and stuff that I have here because we should all know fruits are good for you. Obviously, in low quantities. Blueberries, though, and a lot of the strawberries, you can actually eat a lot of them. They don't have as much calories, but again, you don't want to go crazy. Same with the almonds. You don't want to just sit there and eat this entire jar. Like, they're pretty heavy in calories, so gotta watch yourself. Oranges, apples of any kind. I'm not huge on apples as much, especially sweeter ones, but I need to probably start eating fruit. I'm actually more of a veggie person than a fruit person, so I'm trying to amp up my fruit intake than anything else. Strawberries, typical type of fruit that we all know. And it's always good also to do juices with fruits as well as vegetables and also smoothies. So I have a blender as well as a juicer, and those are always helpful when I just want something different. If I want to get a juice and not have to worry about the high sugar content in a juice, I will make my own juice, as well as smoothies, especially good with protein powder, so I know it can fill me up quicker, and especially if it's after a workout, you know the deal, it's good for you. This one actually I have tried and I've nibbled on it a few times. It's called Power Snacks. This one's the coffee cocoa. There's even like certain fruit ones and things like that. It's a gluten and dairy-free raw superfood. Basically, all it really is dates, flaxseed, almonds, and then like cocoa powder and like coffee extract and chia powder, like chia seeds and things like that. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty intense, honestly. But they're like these little square, I don't know, I'm gonna put my phone up. They're like these little square, raw, little chocolatey type of things. But again, trust me, they're super intense. Like my first bite, I was like, whoa, what is this thing? But after a while, it does taste pretty good. So they'll be the same as like the Hail Marys,
where if I'm craving a sweet of any kind, those are typically good for me as far as that goes. So here, this is Quest Bar, and I've actually haven't tried it until earlier today when I was starving during my extreme grocery shopping, and I stole one as soon as I bought it. I've heard a lot of things about Quest Bars, especially online on Reddit, so if any of y'all are Reddit people, this is one of the things that they always talk about on the fitness forums and stuff, or subreddits. This one this one is the cookie and cream version, but this actually did taste pretty good. It's really dense. Well, I wouldn't say really dense, but it's pretty dense. It's also dry, so it's not like something that's just like after a while I needed to drink a couple glasses of water just because that's my preference as far as eating this. But overall, it was really tasty. I mean, it does taste like a protein bar. You know how they all have that certain aftertaste type of thing? It has that, but it's not horrible or anything. So I recommend Quest Bar. It's very high in protein. If anyone's interested. One bar is 180 calories, so this can be a meal replacement if you're interested. As well as it has 21 grams of protein, and one of the good things as far as, especially with me and the no wheat and low carbohydrates, this is actually 22 grams of carbs, but the dietary fiber is 17 grams. So that's a big plus, especially with the fiber. We all need fiber, and that's something we don't actually eat that often. So I highly recommend Quest Bars, especially if you're trying to gain muscle or you need a lot of replacement bars, things like this. This is kind of perfect. It's not really high in calories, but it does have a good amount of protein, so that should keep you, and it kept me sane for a few hours actually, and I just ate it by itself. The next thing is the Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey Protein. I never tried this particular product, but I've heard good things about it, especially online. I've tried a lot of other whey proteins, such as Muscle Milk, and even like grocery store name brand ones, such as Kroger and stuff. Muscle Milk, I don't recommend that. Well, not for me at least, because it's super high in calories and not as much as protein. But from reading the back and the content, this one's pretty good. For one scoop, it's 130 calories, as well as 24 grams of protein and 5 grams of carbs. So it's not too crazy with 1 gram of fiber, so it's not as awesome and considered compared to the Quest Bars as far as the carbs go, but it's something that I can simply add to milk or whatever else, water, or even put it in baked goods just if I need that added protein. So I'm gonna definitely try it, and this is the chocolate version. So if y'all have ever tried Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard of any flavor, feel free to share, or if y'all have y'all's opinions of the best protein powders or even protein bars that y'all enjoy the most, feel free to share. I'm not super intelligent when it comes to protein powders and bars, so I will love to hear other people's opinions. This product, I'm getting a little tired with it recently, but I'm just taking a break because I went crazy on it for the first few days. These are called Flackers, so again, with no wheat and very low carbs as far as those typical ones. This one's Flackers. It's made out of flaxseed and a few other ingredients, and this one's the sun-ripened tomato and basil, and it's actually pretty tasty, especially if I want hummus one day, or if I want to just eat something with peanut butter or peanut butter. This is a good cracker, and it tastes pretty good. I mean, obviously it's not going to taste like your typical Ritz cracker and stuff, but it's actually pretty tasty. It's not horrible at all. Again, a lot of these things are in my opinion, so obviously everyone's going to think differently. The next thing is almond milk, and obviously that is one of the biggest things that people try and go towards as far as their diets and healthy eating, and it actually really is good for you, especially in comparison to dairy products or dairy milk.
One of the great things about this one is it has more protein than the typical one. It's always good to get the unsweetened one. Yeah, it doesn't taste as awesome unsweetened, but it's low in calories and the protein's 5 grams. In comparison to normal milk, normal milk typically does have a good amount of protein in it and not as high in calories. But you have to watch out because sometimes milk, especially if it's like skim milk, they'll have added sugar and added ingredients that you don't really need. So be careful with that. And what I've learned is with milk products or dairy milk products, kind of keep around low fat if you're trying to get to that type of diet. Skim milk is not that good because they'll put hidden sugars and ingredients in that. Another thing is steel cut oats. I like eating oats and there's nothing bad about it. I know there's a lot of people that hate oats, but I really like eating oatmeal in the morning. And this, again, with every carb type one that I have, this is only for the day that I am allowed to eat 2 meals with 1 serving of carbs. So on certain mornings, I will decide to eat this, and steel cut's very good for you because it's less processed, and it's just overall a little bit better than rolled oats. But if you have rolled oats, there's nothing wrong with it. Honestly, oatmeal is a lot better than grabbing your box of cereal, pretty much. And you can add, almond milk to it. You can add regular milk. You can even add water and add protein to it, protein powder if you want. You can add honey or any type of sugar that you want, fruits. It doesn't matter. And you can even add these, well, I don't know about steel cut oats, but rolled oats, you can add those to a pancake mix, and they actually are very tasty. I've done that too. It was a rolled oat and Greek yogurt pancake, and it was really tasty. Obviously, another thing, and I have a lot of vegetables in my fridge, but like broccoli and cauliflower and stuff like that, but I didn't really pull those out. They wouldn't pull out my entire kitchen. Spinach is a good vegetable, especially when you're looking to do salads or just simply adding a vegetable to your diet. A lot of people will recommend kale, and I think kale is awesome, but I personally don't enjoy it. I tried it countless times, and I just can't like it. I just can't. So spinach is always my go-to. There's also, collard greens. If you cook it, obviously healthy and not drown it in oil and grease and stuff. And then you can have simple ones such as like even doing cabbage, and there's tons of other ones. I just can't think of it. But always going for dark leafy greens is always a plus. And spinach, one of the crazy things about it, though, is it's not high in calories, but you can eat so much of it and you don't feel filled at all. But the weird thing about it is if you add it to the skillet and you're cooking it, they shrink so much. So you grab like a whole 5 handfuls, and by the time it's done cooking, you literally only have like about that much because they shrink so much. It's so crazy cooking with spinach. Another thing I recommend is using coconut oil. I know that's a big thing that's going around currently. It is actually really good. It doesn't have a strong taste when you're cooking with it, especially if you're frying, or not really frying, but what's the word? Not roasting it, but just, I guess frying. That's the only word I can think of. Frying with it doesn't have a strong taste, but you definitely do smell it when you open it and cook with it, but it's actually really good for you. I know a lot of people also will say that it's good for like your hair and your face and your nails and all this other stuff. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I haven't read that much about what it's actually fully good for, but it's really delicious and good, and you can even add it to your protein shakes if you want that extra fat, because it's good fat, especially with even olive oil. Olive oil I have, and that's also a really good fat product. And last but not least, this I have not tried, so if you have tried it yourself, Ezekiel bread. I am very fascinated with this bread. I've never tried it. Like I said, I am intrigued by it. So if y'all have tried it, please let me know. I got the flax one, so I might have went a little crazy because I know they have like the raisin one.
But if you all have tried it, please feel free to share it with me. I will try it on Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll record that moment. But yeah, that's pretty much roughly what is typical in my pantry. Things that I typically eat and things like that. Things that I'm looking.
Especially for this road trip, almost it will be almost impossible. My phone is like slowly sliding to the side. It will be almost impossible to stay on track. So especially if y'all are my big supporters and y'all follow my stuff all the time, please keep me in track, keep me in line, making sure that I'm eating everything that's on my schedule and following it as best as I possibly can. If y'all have any ideas as far as things that y'all think that I should add to my pantry or fridge, feel free to share with it to me. If y'all have ingredients and recipes that y'all think are amazing that follow the idea of no wheat, low carb type of meals, feel free to share. If y'all are interested, I can definitely share with y'all some recipes that I have, such as cauliflower is a big one that I like to make. There's cauliflower fried rice. There's also cauliflower mashed potatoes. You can just roast broccoli and it's actually really tasty, and save it and use that to eat hummus with. I'm trying to think of others. The pancakes that I mentioned, the almond and coconut pancakes. There's also the cream cheese pancakes, and there's also even the rolled oats and Greek yogurt pancakes. So obviously I've tried a lot of pancakes. When I was doing the diet called the 4-Hour Body, that one was horrible for me, but all I could eat was protein, legumes, and vegetables. It was hell for a month. But I went online and tried to find so many different recipes to follow that strict diet. And I ended up finding a lot, like no tortilla soup type thing. So no tortilla soup. And even simple ones from slow cooked chili to how to roast chicken and like make it, just saving all the ingredients from slow cooking. And slow cooking has been very beneficial as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention as far as this diet thing goes, but I feel like I kind of covered pretty much the basics. So again, please share with me any of y'all's idea. I would definitely appreciate it. But that is it, and I need to cook dinner, and my plan of cooking dinner is making tomato, cilantro, and lemon shrimp with roasted broccoli and maybe Brussels sprouts. I'm not sure. Francis will eat rice. Oh yeah, brown rice is good too, but I try not to eat it as much. So yeah, alright, well, hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in, and I actually have a shoot tomorrow, so if y'all are interested, feel free to watch that. It will be like around 4 p.m. Eastern. I did have a shoot yesterday, but they didn't really feel fine with recording a live video broadcasting during the shoot, which is totally fine. I'm not going to go against it whatsoever. So I didn't record it. But tomorrow I have a photo shoot at 4 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to tune in if I am able to, because I always ask permission for the photographer before I do it. And then throughout this week, I will be showing y'all what's going on in my life before this crazy trip that I'm about to take to the East Coast. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and I'm done rambling. So bye, everyone. Have a splendid day, evening, morning, whatever time it is in your life. All right.